And I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today we'll be doing our grade 7 English lesson on claims and evidence. So we'll be doing our grade 7 English lesson on claims and evidence. And before we start with our lesson on claims and evidence, we're going to log into aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of language art, grade 7. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of claims and evidence. All right, so claims and evidence. And if you basically just listened to, or let's say if you just think of the word claims and evidence, right? So if we just listen to claims and evidence, or basically what we think claims and evidence means, then remember specifically evidence, right, is things that it's almost like things that needs to be proven, right? It is research that should have been done in order for you to show that, this is the evidence. I've researched, I have observed, and this is what I come up with. All right. And our chapter is claims and evidence. Our subject that we will be focusing on today is English Language Arts, grade 7. And the lessons that we will be doing under the chapter of claims and evidence is to distinguish facts from opinions. It's to identify thesis statements, as well as to choose evidence to support your claim or to support a claim. And remember, we said claims and evidence is basically things that you have observed, things that you've researched, and now you're like, okay, so this is the evidence, here is my claim, right? So we will basically even distinguish facts from opinions. Remember, when it comes to facts, right? A fact is something, so a fact is something that can be proved by either research or observation. So a fact is generally true, especially if it can be proven by research or observation. For example, Napoleon Bonaparte was shorter than King Louis the 16, right? Which means that this example over here, or the statement over there, it is true, it is a fact. And it's a fact, the statement can be proved by research, by researching the height of each man and comparing them. So we see that the statement above about Napoleon is a fact, and that statement can be proved by researching the height of each man and comparing them. So, fact generally is something that can be proved by research or observation. And then remember, when it comes to facts, right, then we also have opinions. And an opinion is something that a person believes, thinks, or feels. And remember, when it comes to opinions, right, it cannot be proved. Facts are usually something that you have researched, is something that you have proven. So now, whatever you say, right, whether somebody also goes back to research it, back to observe it, right, they will see that it is true. But when it comes to an opinion, right, opinion is something that you as a person, you believe it. It's things that you think, right, is right. It's things that you feel it is right. And unfortunately, an opinion it cannot be proven. And when it comes to an opinion, right, we look at an example. It says Napoleon Bonaparte was a better leader than King Louis the 16th. And the statement above, right, it is an opinion. Because people can have different ideas about what makes someone a better leader. So the statement cannot be proven. Remember, even somebody who is the worst president, for example, based on its leadership skills, based on managing the country, for example, right, can be a very bad man. But yet, a lot of people will give their opinions based on how they feel about the person, whether it is good or whether it is bad. And remember, opinions, it's something that we cannot take away from someone because remember, it is your thoughts, your beliefs, and how you feel. But remember, an opinion, it cannot be proven. We cannot prove to say that your opinion is true. All right. So we have facts and we have opinions, and we said facts is something that can be proven by research and observation, whereas opinions is something that a person believes, that a person thinks, or a person feels, and an opinion cannot be proven. All right, so so we basically have facts and opinions, and then we also have theses, a thesis statement. So basically, when it comes to thesis statements, right, your thesis statement is the central claim that you intend to argue in a paper. It tells readers your opinion or position about a topic. So a thesis statement is a central claim that you intend to argue within a paper, and it tells readers your opinion or position about a topic. And when it comes to a thesis claim or thesis statement, a thesis statement is often the answer to a research question, supported with facts. All right, so when it comes to thesis statements, right, you need to then have a topic, you need to have a research question, definitely your facts, and then you have to have your thesis statement. And we look at it, and if we look at an example, right, then the example in front of us. So the topic, right, of a thesis statement, right, this is an example, is bullying in US schools. So bullying in the United States schools. And the research question, right, is how should schools in the US respond to bullying? All right, so we said we have our topic, which is, for example, bullying in essays in US schools. Then we have a research question, which is how should schools in the US respond to bullying. And then we have facts, right? And remember, a fact is something that was researched or observed. And it says that bullying is not considered an illegal offense in the United States. So basically, we said our facts is bullying is not considered an illegal offense in the US, in the United States. And the question is, like, how do you even know that? Because when it comes to facts, right, there needs to be evidence. There needs to be a form of observation in order for anyone to just make a certain claim. And then we have a thesis statement. And the thesis statement, to better protect students, schools in the US should enact zero tolerance policies towards bullying. Right? So, with a thesis statement, right, it is a central claim that you intend to argue within a paper. All right. And when it comes to a thesis statement, right, then you need to remember that your statement, it must start or state your opinion about the topic. So as much as we are just like putting facts, you need to state your opinion about the specific topic. It shouldn't just announce what topic you'll be doing in your paper. All right. So we are doing our tutorial lesson on A plus students .ca. So that is where we're going to be doing our tutorial lessons. All right, so now we're going to A plus students.ca. And we said our chapter is claims and evidence. And the first lesson that we're going into is to distinguish facts from opinions. And we said a fact is something that can be proved or proven by research or observations. And then with facts, they also have opinions, right? Which is something that a person believes, thinks, or feels, right? And remember, an opinion cannot be proven. So So it cannot be proven. All right. So during the lesson, we're going to state which sentence is a fact. It says the first sentence states a fact. Remember, we said that facts are things that can be proven based on observations and evidence, whereas your opinion is basically just something that you believe, it's your thoughts, the stuff that you think about, right? Oopsie. And the first sentence, right? It says Cheryl Swoops was named to the Basketball Hall of Fame class 2016 along with Shaquille O'Neal. So Cheryl Swoops was named to the Basketball Hall of Fame class of 2016 along with Shaquille O'Neal. And it has now been proven by consulting the Basketball Hall of Fame website that the second sentence states is an opinion. All right, let's go to our first lesson where we have to distinguish from facts and opinions. And remember, we said when it comes to distinguishing fact from opinions, a fact is something that can be researched or observed, right? All right. I said a fact is something that can be proven by research or observation, whereas an opinion is something that a person believes things or feels, right? So you feel like this is right. This is my opinion. This is how I think. This is how I feel about it, right? But an opinion, it cannot be proven. All right. If we look at the first sentence, right, we need to say if it's a fact or an opinion. We could start Kristen Chenoweth and Indina Menzel when it opened on Broadway on October 30th, 2003. So we could start Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel when it opened on Broadway on October 30, 2003. And also based on a true story, right? Or based on a novel, the musical Wicked is the most entertaining show that you will find on or off Broadway. Right? And remember, we said that facts is something that can be proven and can only be proven by doing research or it can be proven by observations, right? Whereas an opinion is something that you believe in, you think of, as well as something that you feel. And once again, an opinion is something that a person believes, thinks, or feels. All right. And remember, when it comes to facts, right, it is evidence, it is claims, it is concrete things that shows that, okay, this is the reason as to what the person did. And based on exhibit or addendum, there would be the details stating that the meeting is adjourned, for example. All right, let's do our test. We are still distinguishing from facts and opinions. So now we need to say which sentence states a fact. Is it the 1969 spaghetti western Once Upon a Time in the What is directed is director Sergio Leone's worst movie? Or is it Ennio Morricone composed the music for the 1969 spaghetti western Once Upon a Time in the West Indies? So we need to basically just state facts, right? So we need to select the facts. Is it the 1969 spaghetti western Once Upon a Time in the West is director Sergio Leone's worst movie, and Ennio Morricone composed the music for the 1969 spaghetti western Once Upon a Time in the West. All right. So if we look at our facts, right, it says that Sergio Leone was the worst movie, or Ennio Morricone composed the music for the 1969 spaghetti western Once Upon a Time in the West. Let's choose which one is a fact, right? Let's choose the second one. And the second one is correct, right? The second one is correct because it also states that it is a musical. So we need to say which one is a fact. Is it Mia Hamm was the most impressive soccer player in the history of the United States women's national team? Or Mia Hamm helped a soccer team, at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill win 4 NCAA titles? All right. So if we then state our facts, right, based on these sentences, then we can maybe say it's the second one. The first one says Mia Hamm was the most impressive soccer player in the history of the United States women national team. That is that is someone's opinion, right? And then the second one says Mia Hamm helped her soccer team at the University of North Carolina win 4 NCAA titles. So this is still something that you can believe, which is the second option. But the first option, right? It is especially if we say that the person is the most impressive, right? That is something that is going to constantly be on the person's, head. He was, right? Instead of thinking that you can maybe do it. And that one is correct, right? So that is basically distinguishing facts from opinions, where we see that facts So now we are identifying thesis statements after distinguishing facts from opinions. So a thesis statement, right, is a central claim that you intend to argue with in a paper, right? So I'm not sure if you do thesis statements currently, right? But it is a central claim that you intend to argue with in a paper. And a thesis statement, it tells readers your opinion or position about a specific topic. And a thesis statement is often the answer to research questions. All right. Because so we say that a thesis statement, it's a central claim that you intend to argue within a paper, right? And it just basically tells the reader your opinion or your position about a specific topic. And a thesis statement, it often answers the question, the research questions with supported with facts. So, for example, if we look at an example of a thesis statement, right, you need to have a topic. For example, bullying in the US schools. This is just an example. So we have the topic, which is basically bullying in US schools. Then, when it comes to a topic of a thesis statement, right, you need to have a research question. So we said that when it comes to a thesis statement, you need to have a topic. And the topic, for example, in this one is bullying in the US schools. You need to have a research question. And the research question should basically, it's like, how should schools in the US respond to bullying? Then here comes in our facts, right? Which is bullying is not considered an illegal offense within the US, which means that before you write these things on, here by the fact, you need to go and do research. You need to observe, right, in order to make a statement or a claim. And then we have a thesis statement. It is to better protect students. Schools in the US should enact zero tolerance policies towards bullying. And just remember that your thesis statement must state your opinions about the topic. And a thesis statement, right, it shouldn't just announce what topic you're covered in the paper. It needs to be broad, right? All right, now let's go to our test where we will be able to identify a thesis statement. So, which is a thesis statement? So, which is a thesis statement? We said transportation's s- public transportation's many delays, mechanical failures, and overcrowding make it an unrealistic option for most commuters. And then also the paragraphs that follow present information about using this public transportation to commute to and from in large cities. All right. So we need to say which is a thesis statement. We say uh, public transportation's many delays, mechanical failures, and overcrowding makes it an unrealistic option for most commuters. And the paragraphs that you follow present information about using public transportation to commute to and from work in large cities. All right. So if we say or choose a thesis statement, right? Let's go with the first one, right? Because remember, the first one is correct because if transport drivers do not take the things to services, the vehicles for servicing, they do not sleep after every trip, right? It makes the race, right, to and from very difficult. So the Peace Corps' shortened waiting time, decreased application length, and choice of service country make it an opportunity more Americans should explore. Or the Peace Corps is a US government run program through which American citizens volunteer to work abroad for 2 years following several months of training. All right. So Peace Corps in the US, it runs program which American citizens volunteer to work abroad for two. Oh, oh, the first one. It decreases the application length, right? All right. So we said when it comes to evidence and claims, right? Evidence and claims is about facts, opinions, or thesis statements, right? As well as what support and evidence that we, for example, choose. And we see that the difference between a fact and an opinion is that with facts is something that should be observed, and you need to basically get your specific evidence. And then also we have thesis statements, right? And that also basically shows our claims. And a thesis statement also shows our specific facts and opinions within a, let's say, thesis writing piece. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on claims and evidence. Thank you very much, grade 7s, for joining. And I really hope you're going to have a good evening further. Goodbye.